Values, beliefs, practices, and opinions are all a part of people's nature. These happen in everyday conversations that when put onto the media, it can change the way people see it. In media as well as in person, cognitive bias can take place. Cognitive bias is defined as a systematic error in thinking that occurs when people are processing and interpreting information in the world around them that affects their decisions and judgments that they make. By looking into different forms of cognitive bias to better understand how it affects individuals, politics, social identity, and news sources, all on social media, it'll help answer how social media affects cognitive bias. There's many forms and variations of cognitive bias that can take place, such as confirmation, functional, attention, and anchoring. Anchoring is when a person relies heavily on their first impression, such as only reading a headline. Attentional is when a person initially only pays attention to things they already believe, such as in a trial case and a person believes they are guilty, yet they are innocent until proven guilty. Functional is when a person is seeing something that can only work in a certain way, such as thinking a specific news source is fake news. Confirmation is when a person searches for info that confirms their pre-existing beliefs, such as specifically Googling in a way to get the answer that the viewer wants. This is a large issue in politics on the media because rather than looking at both sides of the story, people tend to ignore the other side and always favor their point of view. Kroon's results from his study in 2021 demonstrate that media effects and selectivity of biased media content are connected by automatic processes such as stereotypes, showing that these processes are activated by exposure to moderate doses of stereotypical news messages, which leads to the selection of biased news messages or leading to unfortunate outcomes at the intergroup or interpersonal levels. The results also suggest that biased news preferences are the partial outcome of media-induced implicit stereotypes. There are so many areas in the media for error, limited information, and biases. This starts with the news sources that produce the main source of information for people to see and ends with the viewers sharing and believing all the information rather than digging deeper to see both sides. As human beings, we need to learn to put our opinions to the side every once in a while and openly see other points of views, take in all the information given from both sides, and then form an opinion. The human brain is very powerful, and we are intelligent thinkers. There's a lot that goes into forming an opinion, and there's a lot that's involved with obtaining information. Some other causes of cognitive bias may be that people have a limited attention span and have to be selective about what they pay attention to, or it may be that they find a way to trick themselves that they're doing the right thing. Barenboim explains in 2021 how boggled minds can take shortcuts, falling back on hysteric decision-making limited to familiar domains due to seeing information that they weren't expecting to see or may not believe. When looking at the topic of COVID-19 and online news sources over the last few years, even with science and statistics, our country is divided as ever. Unfortunately, it's on us, the users, to break this habit and look at all the information. After discovering how social identity, mental shortcuts, and bias plays a role when getting information online works, users tend to ignore what they don't want to see or jump to conclusions that fit their viewpoint. Now, with an understanding of how users receive information seen online and how they may react to it, it shows that social media is affected by cognitive bias. News sources make it easy by adding opinions in headlines and articles, only adding to the issue of cognitive bias, which is why users need to be cautious when reading new information and put their opinions aside occasionally to form an opinion based on the information given rather than previous beliefs or jumping to conclusions right away.